T.J. Morris, a.k.a. Bear Independent. Devoted servant of the Most High, husband, father, ordained pastor, and foundations of all things ATS, Grindstone Ministries, Caleb House, Bear Independent, blah, blah, 43 other things.
Refuge?
Right? Oh, I thought I had it in here. It's in there, Refuge Medical. Yeah, I said that one. Arming hundreds of thousands with the truth and real-world rescues of the vulnerable. Not just kids, people. Every time we deploy, there's somebody there. There's people in this room that were rescued because of him. Equipping men for biblical manhood, self-reliance, and kingdom battles. He's my brother, not by blood, but by hydraulic fluid and bar oil. I'd never work for him, but I'll always work with him. Shoulder to shoulder. He's here to gear us up spiritually, mentally, practically for the fight ahead. Give it up for Bear, for my brother. The floor is yours. We are ready for battle.
There we go. Love it.
Dog. All right. Listen, the Monday morning time slot is tough because, number one, frankly, you're lethargic from all weekend. Number two, you have a place to go. Fix that. Number three, you got food in front of you. And so all I'm asking of you is your undivided attention. If you waste my time, I'll get pissed and this is not going to go well. And that's not hyperbole. There's literally 100 other things that I could be doing right now, but instead the Father has me here with you. So I'm going to respect you and not hold back and give you everything that I've got. I ask in return you respect me and do not be fucking around. Are we clear? Excellent. So per usual, I've got a stack of notes of all the things that I'm going to talk about. And everything that I was going to talk about has already been said this weekend. That's how you know the Spirit's in it. Every biblical cross-reference, every concept has already come up a half a dozen times. I was talking to my wife about this, and I said, I don't think I even need to speak. She said, you do, because they'll listen to you. And I take that seriously. What we're going to talk about today is problem solution. We have a problem. And by we, I mean big we. Individual we, but big we. You might have noticed the world is wicked and fallen. We were born into that world. It's going to stay that way unless you do something about it. And doing something about it is more than meme posting on Facebook. It's more than sitting around with your homies and having, drinking coffee and talking about it. You have to do something about it. I get a lot of credit for a lot of things because I've been involved in a lot of things. I do a lot of things. My dad used to tell me when I was a kid, son, you can do anything you want to do, it just takes one word, and that word is start. Just start. We're going to come back to that with the biblical example of Messiah. I couldn't find a first aid kit that I liked, so I made one. Now there's 165 people still alive and 10 babies born and kits on 4 continents. I couldn't find a YouTube channel that wasn't full of shit, so I made one. And now y'all are sitting here. I couldn't find a disaster relief organization that was more interested in helping people than taking pictures for their social media. So we made one. I couldn't find a counter-trafficking ministry that actually did counter-trafficking. So we made one. I couldn't find a men's retreat that actually empowered men and taught them biblical concepts. So we made one. You seeing a pattern here? Yes. I'm no better than you. I'm no better than you. You can make one too, whatever it is. In fact, you should. Dare I say you're biblically commanded to. Is our daddy a creator? Yes. Are you fearfully and wonderfully made in his image? Yes. Cool. Why don't you go do something noteworthy so I can learn from you? Why don't you go empower men so I can learn from you? See where I'm headed here? Okay. The reason that this problem has been perpetuated from generation to generation to generation is because we don't know who we are. We forget who we are. You are a son of the Most High, living God. Write that down. I am a son of the Most High, living God. That's who you are. And if you put your nose in your Bible more than casually, you wouldn't need me to tell you that. Now you need to begin to ask yourself, which witness am I willing to receive? The word of the Most High made flesh, or all this ancillary distractional bullshit that labels you with everything other than Son of the Most High, living God? You ever notice I hate labels? I hate labels. Labels ascribe value. Not interested. Labels define identity. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a pastor, I'm a founder, I'm a CEO, I'm a this, I am a son of the Most High living God. And I conduct myself like it. Not perfectly, because if I could do it perfect, I would not need Yeshua. And I desperately need him. But I know that. And so I conduct myself as a son of the Most High living God that desperately needs Yeshua. The reason this is important, that you know this, and I don't mean cerebrally prefrontal cortex, I mean to the core of your being, know this, is because what we're going to talk about is authority and capacity. And you have none of it when you're not perfectly in line with him. And everything is trying to pull you out of line with him. You with me so far? Yes. Okay. Learning time. Prepare to copy. You cannot normal your way through the extraordinary. You cannot normal your way through the extraordinary. You cannot normal your way through the extraordinary. Revelation 19, there's a sharp, double-edged sword going out of Yeshua's mouth, right? That's the word. That implies that the word has at least two edges on it, doesn't it? Yep. So when I say you can't normal your way through the extraordinary, there's at least two meanings there. The first is the times that we find ourselves in are extraordinary. And you, being normal, living a bullshit life, is not going to get you through it. And your bloodline will perish, and no one will remember your name. The other interpretation of that is that you were created intentionally to be extraordinary. That's your job. That's your job. That's your actual mission, is to be extraordinary. And you're trying to normal your way through it. I can tell you from firsthand experience for decades that being extraordinary is highly inconvenient, uncomfortable. I don't sleep a whole lot. I don't have a whole lot of shalom. I hear that all the time. I don't want it to disturb my peace. Your peace is bullshit. The things that put you in a peaceful state, a catatonic state, are all self-soothing, different versions of masturbation. I've got to take care of me. Self-love. I need a little time off. Do you? It's not your peace that matters. It's Dad's peace that matters. Your shalom should be disturbed because your shalom is bullshit. His shalom cannot be disturbed. With me? Okay. You cannot normal your way through the extraordinary. You can try. And you'll be acted upon because you do not have the authority and the capacity to act. I was doing some research for this, operations in the Spirit, operations of the Spirit. We've had baptisms this weekend. We've had anointing this weekend. We've had deliverance this weekend. We've had healing this weekend. Those are all operations of the Spirit. We've talked about flowing through rather than to. Some of y'all weren't in that midrash. Rabbi, what do I have to do to have everlasting life? Guard the commands. Which ones? Exodus 20, Leviticus 19. All this I've watched over from my youth. Well, if you wish to be perfect, go, sell all that you have, give to the poor, and come follow me. And he went away sad. The parashat is, oh yeah, he had his identity wrapped up in his stuff, not in Christ. True. The sod is, when you hold on to something, it cannot flow. I can only hold so much. If we think of the Spirit as buckets of water, living water, I can carry 2 of these things, maybe 4, if I've recently eaten a ribeye and got more than 3 hours of sleep. Okay? Maybe 4. But if I line us up from here to that lake, we can move infinity buckets of water when it flows through us, not to us. Okay? The Spirit isn't yours. It's the Father's. Part of your job in being extraordinary is to have it flow through you, not to you. When it's stagnant, it's not living water. Living water flows. It moves. Tracking? Okay. So, operations of the Spirit. We're going to borrow from our Presbyterian brethren for a minute. I thought this was pretty cool. There are both general... I saw that smirk. That's good. You let your brother know. There are both general operations and special operations of the Spirit. I was like, that's cool. Special operations of the Spirit. I'll get down with that. So, the general operations are considered common grace, which the idea that grace could be common is, I take issue with that. But the three general operations of the Spirit are the maintenance of life, sustaining the natural world and human life, the maintenance of life, restraining sin, limiting the destructive impact of sin in society. I got a bone to pick with that one too. And intellectual and moral gifts, enabling talents, knowledge, and order in human society. Those are the general operations. Maintenance of life, restraining sin, and intellectual and moral gifts. The special operations of the Spirit. This is where things begin to get interesting. Regeneration, the origination of new spiritual life, aka born again. I'm made new, from a heart of stone to a heart of flesh. Conviction, convicting the world of sin, righteousness, and judgment. You find that in John chapter 16, which we know, Messiah says, hey, that's the Spirit's job. Let the Spirit do that. Sanctification. Salvation is by Yeshua. Sanctification, the refining of the soul, is by doing the works appointed to us. The Word and the Word made flesh. I'm less of a scumbag today than I was yesterday because of doing that word. And the guy I was yesterday is way less of a scumbag than I was 10 years ago because of doing that word. That's sanctification, the refining of the soul. Empowerment, giving spiritual gifts like prophecy, healing, tongues, etc., for the edification of the ecclesia, the body of Christ. I would say the church, but when I say church, people get very denominational in their head and they start seeing buildings. If you were to go to a first century Christian and say, I'm going to church, they would be extremely confused. Their response would be, you are church. Church is people. It is not buildings. I know because I have a church that has not met in buildings on many an occasion. We have met in the woods and in hayfields and in public parks and at the refuge office until we didn't fit there and wherever. So empowerment. And then intercession. These are the special operations of the Spirit. Regeneration, conviction, sanctification, empowerment, and intercession. The general operations affect all of humanity. The special operations are specific to believers in Yeshua only. How do you think it is that the Spirit affects all of humanity generally? When the special operations of the Spirit only affect us. It flows through. It flows through. You with me so far? Okay. Now, problem, broken, sinful, fallen world. Identity, Son of the Most High. Authority. Genesis 14. Go there. We're going to need a bigger table next year. Genesis 14. This is the story of Abraham in the Valley of Siddim. You're probably all familiar with this. But like everything in this book, it bears repeating. I'm going to fly through this because we don't have a whole lot of time. We don't have enough time this morning. And it came to be in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, sovereign of Elasar, Kedorlaomer, that's a mouthful, king of Elam, Tidal, the king of the Goyim, that's fun. Anyway, these guys get into a giant fight. And at one point, you end up with an army of 5 kings on one side and an army of 4 kings and giants, the Rephaites, on the other side. And in the process of these 2 armies clashing with one another, Lot gets taken. Lot was Abraham's nephew. So, if we fast forward, go to verse 12. And they took Lot, Abraham's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and left. I could do an hour just on, you can be a good person in the wrong place and still get acted upon. And left. And one who had escaped came and informed Abraham the Hebrew, for he dwelt by the terebinth tree of Mamre. By the way, what tribe was Abraham? He wasn't. He wasn't. He was a Hebrew. Descended from Eber, descended from Shem, descended from Noah, descended from Adam, descended from Yah. And one who had escaped came and informed Abraham the Hebrew, for he dwelt by the terebinth trees of Mamre, Mamre the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and the brother of Aner, and they had a covenant with Abraham. And when Abraham heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his 318 trained servants who were born in his own house, and went in pursuit as far as Dan. So that's up towards Lebanon. And he and his servants divided against them by night, and struck them, and pursued them as far as Hova, which is on the left of Damascus. So he brought back all the goods, and also brought back his brother Lot and his goods, as well as the women and the people. ... Abraham gets word that Lot has been taken. Says, boys, we're up. And goes to the Valley of Siddim, where there are 9 kings and giants. Sizes up the situation and says, we'll kill them tonight. Does. Gets Lot and all these other people who had been taken. Today we call that trafficking. And all of their stuff. It's like, we're up. Let's head home. In the process, a little fellow by the name of Melchizedek, Malik, king, Zadik, righteous, upon the Mount of Salem, peace, comes and blesses Abraham, who had just conducted warfare for the preservation of life, for righteousness, and makes an eternal covenant of peace with him Your seed shall be like the sands of the seashore. And here we are, the fruit of Abraham. There's been a lot of talk this weekend, and it's been an honor to have Danny Jackson and Pastor Joe here, and how they have poured into me, and then I've poured into some of these other brothers here that have poured into you, and you're going to leave here and go pour into somebody else. And if you leave here and you don't go pour into somebody else, do not come back next year. Do not come back here next year if you've wasted this entire weekend for you. Because it's not just for you. It flows through, not to. So Abraham conducts the first recorded night mission, badass, bodies a whole bunch of people, pieces out. And I believe Yah made flesh, the king of righteousness, comes down. We know from Hebrews, Melchizedek, a man without genealogy, comes and blesses Abraham. Well done, good and faithful servant. Abraham saw the problem. He knew his identity. And he had authority. He moved. It does not say in here, and Abraham prayed for guidance. And Abraham consulted his elders. And Abraham waited 21 days for a sign as to what he should do. He moved. Speed, surprise, violence of action. And thus, we know his name. We read about him today. He's genealogically, ideologically, our father. Father Abraham has many sons. Okay? Not that prayer for guidance is wrong. Not that fasting and prayer for spiritual enlightenment is wrong. But when there's a battle afoot, we must go now. And too many of you are too comfortable where you are that you might ideologically come into agreement with the idea of, yeah, there's a battle going on. But because you don't know who you are and you're too comfy being mediocre, you're not engaged in the battle. And then when you pick up your sword, you're worried. Is it sharp enough? Am I strong enough? Am I good enough? Am I all the things Trevor talks about? I'm not enough. All that. When the creator of the universe said, son, I made you intentionally for a reason. That's why you're here. And we think, but I might lose my life. It's not yours. It's not your life. It's not my life. I gave it to Christ. It's his life. He's the boss. He's top. I do what he says. What about my wife? What about my kids? Doubt, fear. 2 of you shall put 10,000 to flight. If you know who you are and you operate with authority. I told you the other night during the anointing, physical fight, PJ's right. Jump out the window, peel, L-shape, AK. Spiritual fight, every one of you can be riddled with demons. Unafraid. Unafraid. Because the spirit that lives in me raised Lazarus from the dead. Unafraid. But we look at conflict like that as if it's hopeless and there's nothing I can do about it. When the creator of the universe intentionally made you to confront it, and because you don't, it flourishes. And then we send memes on Instagram as if we're doing something about it. I taught you the word bitachon last year. What does that mean? Who said that? Good answer, Josh. Bitachon is translated into English as trust. Bitachon, bitachon. Trust is an incredibly weak word. Complete and utter reliance on Elohim. If I trust him, his will be done. Romans, we know that all things work together for the glory of Yah and those who believe in him, and the good of those who believe in him, right? All things. What if that thing includes me spending my life in a worthy cause? Well, my wife, my kids, my friends, my church. Okay. All right. See, because Abraham got a stimulus that he could not abide. They have taken Lot. We are up. I will not tolerate that. Not on my watch. 318 men, armed and trained, of his own house. I could do an hour on that. And they went, and they took decisive action immediately. And as a result, he's blessed by the creator of the universe eternally. It's right there. We read it as if cool story from 4,000 years ago. Okay, so anyway, it's the living word of God. It is an example of what we are supposed to do, how we are to conduct ourselves as sons of the Most High. You with me? Okay. I want you to ask yourselves, write this down. What would you spill out your own blood for? That's the question. Don't need answers now. You're going to do this on your time, not our time. What would you spill out your own blood for? What would you pour out your own soul for? What do you love? What do you hate? Whatever that beeping is, I hate it. Close with and destroy that beeping. 2 more questions. Why are you here? The last, why did Yahuwah make you? Why did Yahuwah make you? Now, I know that answer. That answer for me is to go and do. I was told that 8 years ago. I heard the voice of the Most High. Go and do. Go and do what? Well, in the absence of specific orders, we revert to our general orders. General orders. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, your strength. And love your neighbor as yourself. Okay. Get these pansy-ass questions all the time. How do I love my neighbor? observe. Do they love my neighbor as myself? Do I have clothes on? Yes, cool. Do they have clothes on? No, fix that. Does my roof leak? No. Does theirs leak? Yes, fix that. They don't have any money? Fix it. They need, insert thing here. It's real simple. Do they have what they need? The answer is no. Fix it. It starts at physical, but physical then becomes mental and emotional and spiritual. You will never witness to somebody who's cold and starving until you fix cold and starving. They don't want to hear about your God. If your God is so weak that he can't fix cold and starving, they're not interested. It's one of the reasons that Grindstone is so effective, because you can see what we do. It's obvious. And then they want to know why. Why are you doing this? Because God told me to. He told me to go and do. And today, I'm here helping you. Why? Because he loves you. He couldn't possibly love me. You have an identity crisis. Go and do. That's my job. I don't know what yours is. But I can tell you, Yeshua said, therefore go forth and make believers disciples out of all nations. I made you do a midrash this weekend. Did you die? It was good. You've seen what a baptism looks like. Maybe even experienced one. Maybe not for the first time. Was it hard? No. You saw how to anoint and pray. Was that hard? No. But I can't. I want to scream obscenities at you. I can't. Not with that bitch mentality. You're right, you can't. You shouldn't, if that's your mentality. Because you can't give somebody something that you don't have. If it's not flowing into you, do not try and make it flow through you. That's what it is. I won't, because physical level stimulus, hamster wheel, comfort, lack, no trust, no understanding in who he is and who you are. You have no access to his authority and his capacity without understanding who it is that you serve and then coming into alignment with him. That's where we're going next. So my job is to go and do. That's why I'm here. It's been great hanging out with you guys, talking with you guys, conversations, all that. That's window dressing. I'm here for this. The best utilization of my time would have been to have arrived an hour ago. Because I got 100 other things. It's Monday. You ever own 5 companies on a Monday? Yeah. But because I respect you and I respect the Most High, I'm here. Now, I want you to make 2 columns on your paper, a left and a right. On the left, your header on the left says mine. M-I-N-E, mine. The header on the right says Yahs, Y-A-H''S, belongs to the Most High. Under the header on the left, you are going to write authority, authority, capacity, body, B-O-D-Y, and mind, M-I-N-D. Under the column on the right, you are going to write authority, capacity, soul, and spirit. You have two columns. On the left, it says mine, and on the right, it says Yahs. The left is your force of will. Write that underneath that column. Force of will. And on the right, under Yah's column, you write sovereignty. He's sovereign. Spell it wrong, fix it later if you don't know how to spell it. Now, where it says mine, go ahead and put some air quotes around that, because nothing is yours. You with me so far? Okay. This is the matrix that we're working off of here. You have an inherent authority and capacity. It increases over time if you use it. Just like bench press. If you haven't done it in a while, you suck at it. It works the same way with spirit. If you haven't used it in a while, it's going to be a little bit more challenging than if you use it every day, every moment, every engagement that you have with someone, every opportunity to, we're up. I will not allow that. I told you yesterday, you guys use your no on bullshit. We should go to Chili's tonight. No. Burned one. Why? Why no? Because you don't feel like it? We should paint the walls. No. Why do you care? Save some of your no's for, there's an LGBTQ plus IA rally at the middle school, and they're making all the students attend. No. No, there is not. You with me? You have your own inherent authority and capacity. You are also in charge of your body and your mind. Your body should look and function better next year when you come back than it does right now. And I don't care if you're 87 like Lee or you're 19. Some of y'all are swole. Good job. Some of y'all are not. Fix it. Because you fight with what you brought. And if what you brought is bullshit, you're fighting with bullshit. And the people that didn't bring bullshit don't want to fight with you. It's as simple as that. Because you're a liability, not an asset. Your mind, Shaul of Tarsus, take hold of every thought. You don't understand, I just get it into my head and take hold of every thought. Is it righteous? Is there utility in this thought? Does this thought serve Elohim? I'm going to strangle it until I determine whether or not it's allowed to speak. If it's allowed to speak, I'll let go of it and let it breathe. If it's not allowed to speak, I will just strangle it until it dies and throw it into the trash bin of my mind. We talk about Leviticus 11. I eat clean. Do you? What do you feed your eyes? What do you feed your ears? Matters just as much as what you put in your mouth. We know if you put the wrong things in your mouth, it'll make you sick. Without realizing you put the wrong things in your eyes, it'll make you sick. I've put the wrong things in my eyes and my ears for a long time. It made me sick. Fix that. Audit what you eat, because it goes straight through your ocular nerves into your brain. This brain, this prefrontal cortex, he has the audacity to say in the presence of a one of one in the world neuroscientist over here, this is our lattice work. This is our framework, our left and right limits, our straight and narrow path. It's the filter by which we process this information. Bad filter, bad outcome. Good filter, good outcome. You want a really good filter? It looks like this. If you put this in your eyes, it will stick in your brain, and it becomes a really good filter on whether or not I need to choke this thought to death. You with me? Okay. When I combine my body and my mind and my authority and my capacity, I get my force of will. First refuge core value is be humble. That's important. I put it there first for a reason. Be humble. The second is make it happen. Do it. Don't tell me why you can't. Tell me what you need so that you can. Make it happen. That's my force of will. I happen to the world. The world does not happen to me. I do not permit the world to happen to me. I do not allow the world to happen to me. I am in this world, not of this world. I don't work for it. It works for me. I work for Dad, and He made all of it. You start seeing things that way, you don't have finite resources, you have infinite resources. Over here in Yahs column, we have soul and spirit. The soul, this has come up several times this weekend, is this little spark of the infinite. When the Father says, I knew you before you were formed in the womb, when He's talking to Jeremiah, that means that you could be known before you had a body. You are not your body. Your body is the pickup truck, you're the driver. Okay? It's just an extremely advanced biomechanical system. Almost like it was intelligently designed or something. You know, TACMED anecdote. If you lose 50% of your blood volume, you got a 50-50 chance of being in what's called irreversible hypovolemic shock. When that happens, necrosis begins, cell death. There was a landmark study done by 27 different medical hospitals, universities rather, over the course of 2 years, where they researched all different kinds of ways to stop cell death, because once it begins, it doesn't stop. That's why I explain like I'm 5 version, you keep the blood inside the body. There is no known, documented medical way to stop cell death except prayer. And it's in Harvard's journals and Stanford's journals. It's blatant because we like to play God. And if you put on a white coat and a stethoscope, you feel like you are God. Goes back to labels. Be careful with the labels. Be careful with how you identify, because you're not God. I don't want to serve you. Could you imagine if I was God? That's a pretty terrible God. No way. I need something. I have something much infinitely greater than myself. Your soul belongs to the Father. He made it. He knew you before you had a body. And so we oftentimes get wrapped underneath the axles of this idea that I'm a physical being that has temporary, intermittent spiritual experiences. Like I came to ATS for the weekend and it was great, man. I was so filled up. My cup flows. I'm overflowing, man. Hamster wheel. I hate it here. You probably say some version of I hate it here to yourself every week, maybe every day. Audit that. Fix that. You have agency. You have force of will. Delete it from your life. Spirit is Dad's. It's considered the emanation of the Most High. I look at it, we get this argument all the time, Trinity versus Echad, right? Is the Trinity doctrine bad doctrine? Shut up. Stop. One of my sons is here. Am I Dad? Yup. Are we at my house? Nope. But I'm still Dad. Yeshua. Have I ever texted you or called you on the phone? The Spirit. When we're at home, am I Dad? Yah. You're welcome. The Spirit belongs to Dad. That's His. It is supposed to be indwelt in us and flowing through us. And when I take my body and my mind and my soul, which is His, and I couple it with His Spirit, we are now at one. At-one-ment, echad, atonement. We are aligned. If I have two radios, simplex transmission, I've got to have the right antenna, I've got to be tuned to the right frequency, I've got to be able to see each other in order to transmit and receive. They have to be in line. When I line me and Him up, like, a straight and narrow path, my authority and capacity becomes His authority and capacity. I can do not whatever I want, because when you're aligned, it's not what I want. Father, Yah, let this cup pass from me, but your will be done. Okay? So alignment at one-ment produces acceptance. When I say acceptance, I mean Garden of Gethsemane acceptance. I love you so much that I will pour out my blood for you. I will pour out my soul for you. Okay? Life has no greater love than this, that a brother lay down his life for a friend. It's not your life. It's not my life. And we make terrible lowercase g gods of our own lives. Look at your fruit. Look at the fruit you produce when you're in charge. I don't want it, and you don't want mine, versus the fruit that's produced when He's in charge, when we're aligned, when we have that acceptance of whatever it is, your will be done. And it's not a cute little thing that we say to each other, that it becomes obvious in the way that we conduct ourselves, that people can see it. And I don't just mean physically see it, but people can see it. This room has been really bright the last 3 days. Those of y'all who can see it know that. It's It's a beautiful thing. You're supposed to be the light, brother. The light shines into the darkness, and the darkness comprehendeth it not. You happen to the world, not the other way around. And because you don't happen to the world is run by satanic pedophiles that eat children, and that is not hyperbole. Because so-called men of Elohim will not shoulder the burden of responsibility to do the right thing, whatever the right thing looks like. You have diminished your own authority and capacity to where you have the spiritual equivalent of maybe being able to tie your own shoes. When there's a war to fight, toddlers playing with swords in the front yard, extremely dangerous. Lack of diligence, lack of commitment to train with the weaponry, to be able to deploy the weaponry offensively against evil. We don't give toddlers handguns. They're not ready for it because they'll hurt themselves. They might hurt somebody else too. If you don't show up to class every day, you're not going to be very good. If you don't train, you are just through atrophy, diminishing your own authority and capacity. If you don't push that bar every day, you can feel it if it's been a week. I took a week off. You come back, oh my God, why does 315 feel like this? And last week it was just reps. Chicken farmer was at Refuge. We had a meeting. Part of that meeting was while I was doing chest flies. Because I do 9 things at the same time. Because I have to. Okay? Get to the point where you can just, all right, so tell me your business idea. What do you got? All right, I would, do that. Don't do that. That sounds good. Talk to that guy. Because your authority and capacity increases with use, and it atrophies without use. You with me? Okay. That alignment, that atonement, you've gotten that this weekend. A baptism is an external expression of an inward heart condition. Okay? You have to maintain the posture of that inward heart condition. It has to remain pointed at the Most High. Anything that pulls you off of top dead center is wrong, especially when it feels good. Because feels good goes back to self-soothing over here by whatever form. Feels good and is good are 2 very different things. The root of disciple is discipline. You might want to write that down. So I have a lot of biblical cross-references here. Luckily, for the sake of time, almost all of them have already come up this weekend because that's how the Spirit works. So just a few men of note in a little book called the Bible you might have heard of once. Samuel. 1 Samuel 15:33 is the address. 1 Samuel 15:33. I love this passage. And Samuel hewed Agag to pieces. What? The man of God had a sword and killed the heathen king? Yeah, because the king of Israel, Saul, was told to and didn't. So Samuel, upon observing this, you'll never believe it, he gets pissed off. And he killed a guy as a man of Elohim. It wasn't murder, it was killing. Agag had it coming. And Saul, was not the man for the job. He acted like he was the man for the job. It was not David's job to meet Goliath. in combat. That was Saul's job. Appoint someone, right? I get it, you're the king. There's no one here gathered on this battlefield against the Philistines that looks at that giant and goes, I'm up, boss. Not one. These are the men in the army. They've got their armor and their sword and their shield and their spear. They're LARPing. They're acting as if they have authority and capacity, and they do not. And one unclean heathen shows up and everybody cowers. Front sight press, repeat, next. I love the way Aspen tells it. And he cut his head off with his own sword and held it up. And all the Philistines ran away. She's 9. Hell yeah. Because that's the point. David wasn't nobody. Did he have an ordination from the Most High? Did he? So do you. Samson. Crazy old Philistines again. 1,000 men, jawbone of an ass. I used to not understand that until one of y'all sent me the jawbone of an ass. I was like, oh, I get it now. I get it. If the jawbone comes down either side and you wear it like a gauntlet and the teeth come out this side, oh, I understand now. There's some conjecture. Maybe he used it like a war club, extended his reach a little bit. Maybe. This feels right. I get it. Why? 1,000 Philistines. Why? They were trying to kill them. Samson was not a great dude. Kind of had a temper problem. Got it done. Shamgar. I love Shamgar. Old man, pointy stick, 700 Philistines in a month. But I'm got more gray than I got brown in my beard. Old man, pointy stick, 700 in a month. Okay. Also, guerrilla warfare, 1s and 2s, sneaking around. Got him. Fading back into the bushes. What about Jehu? I love Jehu. Ahab was for Baal. Jehu is more for Baal than Ahab is. Assemble me all the prophets of Baal and all the men of Baal into the temple of Baal. Awesome. Karaites lock the doors. Kill them all. Burn it. I can't do that. David, they wrote songs about the tens of thousands of men that David slaughtered in battle. David had his own special forces, the 3 and the 40. We know their names. And he went down to the pit of the pit of the leopard on a snowy day. That's pretty cool. You ever kill a giant cat with a stick? I haven't. And that's just a footnote. It's just an anecdote. Oh yeah, same stick. He also killed 700 Philistines in one battle. That guy's badass. Yeah, Bear, that was them back then. Not me. I got to fill out these Excel spreadsheets, do these TPS reports. That's gay. Like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Bathsheba jammed up David. He put the wrong thing in his eyes. And he sent one of his best men to go die because of his transgression. It can go that far. We think about how bad putting the wrong thing in my eyes can be for me. What about for you if I'm putting the wrong thing in my eyes? Or you to me? David also assembled all of the material for Solomon to build the temple. He was not allowed to because he was a man of blood. Solomon, we talked about this the other day, it's not Solomon's temple. He didn't even build it. It's Yah's temple. You know, later in Solomon's life, all this witchcraft, sorcery, all of this, the occult, all trace back to what are called the greater and lesser keys of Solomon, aka the Goetia. That's what Solomon was doing after the temple was built. Because he had 700 wives, 300 concubines. He had everything. They're paving the streets of Jerusalem with silver because it was worthless. Gold, baby. 10,000 horses. Throw in a little witchcraft, sounds good. Because I want real power, real authority. Do not be allured by that. There's one. One. I'll tell you this anecdotally. I spent a decade in apostasy, playing drums in satanic heavy metal bands, surrounded by it. Almost killed myself a half a dozen times because of it. Did a mountain of cocaine. I mean, a mountain of cocaine. Drank a handle of Jim Beam every day. 12 to 24 Budweisers every day. I prefer in the bottle, but I'll settle on in the can. That'll be all right. And during that decade of apostasy, he was still sovereign. He still won. It didn't matter what I did. He was still sovereign. He is still sovereign. So you can look for power, authority, capacity other places. None of it touches his power, his authority, his capacity. Joshua 1, 1 through 9. Be strong and courageous. Everybody loves that part. Joshua 1, 1 through 9. Everybody loves that part. That's the verse that you paint on a board and hang up over your mantle. You probably got, as for me in my house, we will serve the Lord, hanging up in the hallway near the kitchen somewhere, something like that. But that Joshua verse, there's a part that everybody misses. And it came to be after the death of Moshe, the servant of Yahweh, that Yahweh spoke to Joshua, Yahushua, the son of Nun, the assistant of Moshe, saying, Moshe, my servant, is dead. So now arise, pass over this Jordan, you and all this people, to the land which I am giving them, to the children of Israel. Every place on which the sole of your foot treads I have given you, as I spoke to Moshe. From the wilderness and this Lebanon, even as far as the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites and the great sea, toward the going down of the sun, is your border. No man is going to stand before you all the days of your life. No man. No man is going to stand before you all the days of your life. As I was with Moshe, so I am with you. I do not fail you, nor forsake you. Be strong and courageous, for you are to let this people inherit the land which I swore to their fathers to give them. Only be strong and very courageous, to guard to do according to all the Torah which Moshe my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it right or left, so that you act wisely wherever you go. Do not let this book of the Torah depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate on it day and night. Put it in your brain, so that you shall guard to do according to all that is written in it, for then you shall make your way prosperous and act wisely. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid nor be discouraged, for Yahweh your Elohim is with you wherever you go. We hear that and we think, well, that's great for Joshua. Good dude. That's why we know his name. Yah put you here for a reason, intentionally, for this time, knowing everything that's wrong with the world. You are the antidote to what is wrong with the world. But if you do not act, nothing will happen, and this misery will pass to your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren. Your legacy will be one of misery, not one of light, not one of righteous authority, capacity, dare I say power, the ability to happen to the world rather than have the world happen to you. The ultimate example of personal and heavenly authority and capacity is Yeshua. That should be self-evident. It begins for me in the Garden of Gethsemane. Concur. It's personal. Yeshua in the Garden of Gethsemane is where it begins for me. Praying night of watches. Can you not watch with me 1 hour? Roman guard shows up. Judas, insider threat. It was not a small number of soldiers. The word that's used is spheron. And spheron means 1/10 of a legion. And a legion was about 7,000 guys. So you're talking 700 soldiers showed up. Whom do you seek? Yeshua of Nazareth. I am he. And at the utterance of that I am, these dudes are knocked ass over tea kettle. The power and authority in that I am he. I and my Father are one, echad, aligned, atoned. You with me? Yes. You understand? Yes. No man takes my life from me. I lay it down freely. They couldn't arrest him if they wanted to. He let them. Your will be done. He let them. It would have been over like that if it was his will be done. This is God made flesh. Exodus 15 verse 3, Yahweh is a warrior, Yahweh is his name. It's cute you brought 700 friends with you. You're all dead. Okay? And then on from there, assuming the burden of the stake, whipped, humiliated, doing that. Leviticus 5 is the offering for unintentional sin. That's what he's saying when he's hanging upon the stake. Forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. Unintentional sin. Leviticus 5, atonement. And we see him come back in Revelation 19. We will see him there before we see him here. But when he is here again, boots on the ground, there are two teams. There is Team Yeshua, and there is Team everybody else. And Team everybody else is slaughtered. I personally, anecdote, am at the point now that a lot of my prayer is scream praying. I've been yelling at Dad. I need you to be who you say you are. I need the hail to fall. And if it hits me too, as long as it hits them, so that these women and children could stop. You don't even know what is done to them. You don't want to know what is done to them. I don't want to know what is done to them. I need the hail. I need you to be you. If you read about Sodom and Gomorrah, it says that the cries of the righteous ones reached the ears of the Most High, and he came down to look. That's where it bumps into Abraham. Cheeseburger time. I love that story. The Jews, you can't put the meat with the cheese. Read your own book. But the cries of the righteous reached up to the heavens, and the Yod-Heh Vav-Heh, the one, came down to rectify the situation. He got Lot out. Didn't go so great for Lot's wife. But the righteous were pulled out, and then the wickedness was destroyed. I don't care if I get destroyed in the process of the wickedness being destroyed. I'm there. I don't care anymore. Because the wickedness has to be destroyed. It has to be destroyed. And if I go with it, so be it. Be careful with alignment and acceptance. Because there's 1,000 things I'd rather do. Like grow old with my wife. Hug my kids. But if that is what is required of me, your will be done. Luke 10:19 says, "See," this is Messiah speaking, the one, the anointed, the Christ, the physical manifestation of the creator of the universe on earth to interface with his people. "See, I give you authority to trample on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and none at all shall hurt you." To trample on. See, Yeshua knows these serpents. It goes all the way back to the garden. We're his seed. We operate in his name, which is not a pronunciation of letters. It's an authority. It's a knowing. It comes from a relationship that is more than lip service. You have the authority. You're not using it. And as a result, you're surrounded by wickedness. I do not permit wickedness in my circles. I do not permit it to be where I am. Because old me likes it a lot. Old me is really good at it. Tremendous, even. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. Sin goes outside the gate, outside the camp. I also don't permit wickedness if there's something that I can do about it. There have been many nights where I'll get a text or a phone call about a thing that must be done. And I could lay in bed knowing about that thing and not sleep, or I could get my ass out of bed and go do something about it. I'm not sleeping either way. I might as well go do something about it. This is why it pisses me off in the morning when guys are like, Barry, you look tired and angry on the brief. Yeah. Because that's the cost of being a man of Elohim, at least for me. It is my greatest hope that it's tired and joyful for you. But what I've been given, at least right now, the joy is preventative. The joy is knowing that thing is not happening to that person anymore. That's the joy. At the cost of my own life. I have children too. I want to hang out with my 2-year-old and my 9-year-old and my 17-year-old and my 19-year-old and my son and my wife and my pastor and my mentor and my brothers and my friends. I want that. It's not for me right now. But I spent a decade being disobedient to him. And I got my ass beat for it. I don't want to get my ass beat again. Because his power and authority is way more than my own. And the only thing that's worse for me than obedience is disobedience. That's just the way he made me. I hope there's joy in whatever it is that he made you for. For me right now, that's the row that I've got to hoe. And I will. Because the cost of inaction is too great. So you need to ask yourself, what is inaction costing you? Costing everybody inside your sphere of influence, that you not being who it is that Yah made you to be. In John 13, there's this beautiful little passage. John 13:1. And before the festival of the Pesach, the Passover, Yeshua, knowing that his hour had come, that he would move out of this world unto the Father. First of all, you're not dying. You're just moving. We're just moving from one to the next. And I'm in no hurry to die. I'm not excited for it. I don't want to. However, I am also completely unafraid of it. Because this isn't mine. It's his. Yeshua, knowing that his hour had come, and that he should move out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own who were in the world. He loved them to the end. And the supper taking place, the devil having already put it into the heart of Judah, Yehuda, of Kerioth, the son of Simon, to deliver him up. Yeshua, knowing that the Father had given all into his hands, and that he had come from Elohim and was going to Elohim, rose from the supper and laid aside his garments. Having taken the towel, he girded himself. And he goes on to wash the feet of his disciples. But what I love about this is Yeshua knew. He did not hope. He did not believe. He did not pray. He knew. He knew. And there is a power in knowing that supersedes all this other flowery surface level stuff. Knowing. I know who Yah is. I know who I am. I know what my job is. I know why I'm here, why I was made. I know it. Once you know, you got two options: obedience or disobedience. That's it. I can't be disobedient. Wake up, Dud. You, all of you, every one of you in the back, are the action arm of the Most High living God. You are the Yod. You are his hands. There's a story, Elisha. The Assyrians are coming because Shomeron is filled with pagan bullshit and it needs to get destroyed. Paraphrasing. I see Pastor laughing in the back. And Elisha and his little dude Gehazi, I assume Gehazi's little. For all I know, he's massive. I see him as a little dude. Not little dude like Rutledge is. Not little and powerful. I'm being honest. Because Rutledge he's smaller than me, but he's powerful. He has authority and capacity. Gehazi's a wuss. Gehazi is looking, Master, we're surrounded. And Elisha says, look, Gehazi. Gehazi raises his eyes and looks all around, and the mountains all around. And there are angels all around. And Gehazi says, Master, they're surrounded. And Elisha says, yeah. That night, one unnamed angel. This is not Michael or Gabriel or Raphael or any of the other Ninja Turtles. This is... You're welcome. This is one unnamed angel. Goes down into the camp of the Assyrians and slaughters 185,000 opponents. 185,000. That's the United States Marine Corps. They wake up in the morning. The siege is broken. Praise the Father. I don't know how many angels there are. I don't know. I don't know if it's 12 or a million or infinity. I don't have that answer. But I do know if y'all wanted to get it done without you, it would be done already. That's well within his ability. If he wanted it done without you, it would be done already. The whole earth is groaning for the revealing of the sons of Elohim. That's you. Because we don't do what we're supposed to do. It took that one angel to break the siege because the men inside of Shomerone were not righteous, and they did not have the Spirit of the Most High inside of them. Oh, by the way, they were eating children. That's not hyperbole. It literally says it in the Bible. I have a lot of tools. They run the gamut from socket sets to chainsaws to skid steers. Depending on what the job is, I probably got a tool for it. And if I don't, I know somebody who does. Probably Heath. Some tools I use every day. They're really important to me. I keep them close, and I make sure they're well sharpened. They have great utility. I carry them with me everywhere I go. Some tools are sitting on a shelf, waiting for the time for them to be used. They all serve a purpose. They're all ready for battle, if you will. But it would be really dumb of me to have all these tools and never use them. It would be even worse if I went to my socket set and I flipped it open and the ratchet starts telling me about what a busted up piece of shit it is, and I don't want to, and I can't, and you don't understand. I just don't feel like ratcheting today. Shut up. Do your job. Click, 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 click. Thank you, Ratchet. I like you. I will keep you. I've had some tools. This thing doesn't work. Dumpster. Lake of fire. This thing doesn't work. Behold, I come swiftly to reward each man according to his works. Yeshua, Messiah, Book of Revelation. And you shall know them by their fruits. What do? That's why the fig tree was cursed outside of Jerusalem. It bore no fruit. In a moment, you'll hear people say, well, it wasn't the season for figs on that tree, so what was Jesus actually doing here when he cursed it? You don't think that the creator of the universe didn't know that tree? That one? Of the billions of trees on planet Earth, he didn't know that tree? If he knows every hair upon your head, you'd think he doesn't know a tree? It didn't bear fruit. Never again. You are the action arm of Elohim. You sitting there thinking, I know he's not talking about me. It couldn't be me. I'm not good enough by whatever metric you want to use for good enough, which Trevor will tell you is just your trauma talking. Get out of your feelings. You, sitting there, are the action arm of Elohim, and he desires you, not angels. Because if he wanted it done without you, it'd already be done. Well within his capacity. And the cost of your inaction is too great. The kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and violent men take it by force. Where are the men? I feel like Elijah after 2 years in a cave. Where are the other 7,000 that haven't bent their knee to Baal? Literally. Literally. Not some esoteric concept of Baal. Literal. Where are they? I'm not supposed to do what I do on my own. I am blessed that I have awesome teams of people that I get to do it with. I know where about 100 of the men who haven't bent the knee to Baal are. Where are the rest? And why are they not swinging axes into the foreheads of the prophets of Baal? Literal or metaphorical? Because it's real comfortable in my cubicle or my truck cab. I like this role that I'm in right now. Did you die to your flesh so that you could live unto Christ, or was that just a nice thing that we said to each other after you got wet? Did you mean it? Is he who he says he is? Yes. Well, then you are who he says you is, too. My brothers, the time is short. You better start acting like it. Not just for your own self-preservation. Your life's not yours. I asked you, what would you pour your own blood out for? What would you pour your own soul out for? Why are you here? Why did he make you? Why aren't you a rock? Instead, you're a son of the Most High living God. Without his Spirit indwelt in you, you're a pile of molecules, bro. That's all you are. That, by the way, is why Lazarus Arise works. It's the Spirit that animates molecules. Master, he stinketh. Whatever. Ain't a thing. Molecules. Stuff. It's just stuff. That's why we're not allowed to worship idols. It's just stuff. There's no spirit in it. Can't be. Unless the creator of the universe says so. I'm going to leave you with this. Ephesians chapter 6. Everybody's heard Ephesians chapter 6 before. Pastor Joe touched on it on Friday evening. The whole concept of Ephesians chapter 6 is that we wrestle not with flesh and blood. We also spoke about on Saturday a man who wrestled. What was his name? After he wrestled. You know, while we're in Ephesians 6, because this will make the point. In Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. For we are his workmanship, created in Messiah Yeshua unto good works, which Elohim prepared beforehand, that we should walk in them. Therefore remember that you, once called nations in the flesh, who were called the uncircumcision by what is called the circumcision made in the flesh by hands, that at that time you were without Messiah, excluded from the citizenship of Israel, and strangers from the covenants, plural, of promise, having no expectation and without Elohim in the world. But now in Messiah Yeshua, you who were once far off have been brought near by the blood of Messiah. For he is our peace, who has made both one, and having broken down the partition of the barrier, he abolished in his flesh the enmity, the Torah of commands and dogma, man's laws, so as to create in himself one renewed man from the two, thus making peace, and to completely restore to favor both of them unto Elohim in one body through the stake, having destroyed the enmity by it. And having come, he brought us good news, peace to you who were far off, and peace to those near. Because through him we have both access to the Father by one Spirit. So then you are no longer strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens of the set-apart ones and members of the household of Elohim. You are sons, and you are Israel because of Messiah. Genesis 32, Jacob wrestles with the man, capital M. And he is renamed Israel. He who struggles with, he who overcomes with, and he who rules with the Most High. Israel wrestles. Paul says that because of Messiah, you're Israel. We go one page over to Ephesians 6. Here's some more wrestling. And I want to point this out. We make this relationship that we have with Christ very, very me-focused. And that is accurate, but it's only one half of the deal. You can't be in a relationship with anyone for very long that's very me-focused. Doesn't work. The other half of the equation is a follower of Messiah. I don't even want to use the term believer because lots of people believe, but do they know? As a follower of Messiah, is you have a responsibility unto the kingdom of Elohim. We see that in certain commands and teachings. Forsake not the widow and the orphan. Love your neighbor as yourself. That's outward, bro, not inward. The Spirit flows through you, not to you. It's not yours. You're not yours. I'm not mine. And Jeremiah the father's pissed. He says, give me my sheep. Give me my goats. They're not yours. Just give back to me what is mine. My day job, Instagram, TikTok. Oh, look, titties. Ephesians 6. Verse 11. Put on the complete armor of Elohim for you to have power to stand against the schemes of the devil. For you to have power to stand against the schemes of the devil. Because we do not wrestle against flesh and blood alone. I will come into agreement with Pastor on that. It's not just flesh and blood, but it is flesh and blood. That's the mechanism by which all of these spiritual authorities, be they from above or from below, are trying to terraform this earth. We are the hands and feet. You get to pick of whom. It's Yah or everything else. Because we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against authorities, against the world rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual matters of wickedness in the heavenlies. We wrestle. I'm tired. I'm tired of wrestling alone. I'm tired of coming here year after year to motivate you, to go be all you can be in Yah's army. Although I loved your speech. It was incredible. You should do that again. And I mean that genuinely. I want brothers too. I want somebody to help me too. I want somebody that knows what the armor feels like and knows how to use their sword, and there's already blood on it. I'm tired of toddlers playing with swords in the front yard. So's he. You're going to be a man of Elohim? Be a man of Elohim. Do not come back here next year if you are not using what you learned this year. This is not a game to me. It's not to be taken lightly. Every one of you, when you leave here, yes, the enemy is going to come against you. I rebuke you in the name of Yeshua, Messiah, flee from me. It's a knowing that cannot exist in my presence because he is in me. He's here, in me, in you, all around. It is not permitted to exist here. You don't have to yell it. You don't have to scream it. It doesn't take holy water and oil. It's a knowing. Flee. You are not welcome here. You do that enough, they stop trying because you are a non-permissive environment for sin. It won't work. So when you leave here and you go happen to the world, there's a mission for you. I don't know what it is. That's not my department. I know how to introduce you to Dad or bring you back to Dad or smash you into the water to clean the shit off of your soul so you can talk to Dad, or anoint you and pray over you so the demons will get out of you so that you're back in line with Dad. I'm not in charge of tasking. It's not my department. He's in charge of tasking. Logan and I were talking about this the other night. There's some people who are called, and there's some people who are just here playing. And it's the ones that are just here playing, they always wash out. They might make it for a while, but they wash out because they're not supposed to be here. They're supposed to be somewhere else, doing something else. And that's fine too. As long as what they're doing is ordained by the Most High living God, I have no opinion on it. I don't care. I want, and he needs, requires of you. When you leave here, you leave with answers to those questions. And get off the bench. 2 of you shall put 10,000 to flight. And brothers were outnumbered a lot. So my challenge to you when you leave here is that you go happen to the world. not the other way around. And that you increase your authority and your capacity by doing the reps. And if you don't know, what am I supposed to do right now? You have general orders. Go do that. See a problem, solve a problem. Every grindstone deployment we've ever done, we drive there first and then figure out what we're going to do. The sea parts as you step into it. It doesn't open first and then you walk across dry land. You have to put your toes in the water first in faith. You have to move in faith and then the sea parts. It requires, this relationship requires input from your end. Are you saved? Yes, by the blood of Christ and Christ alone. Are you sanctified? That never stops. Are you being obedient to the calling that he put on your life, the reason that he made you? Only you know the answer to that, but I'm betting for most of you the answer is no. No, I am not. And I want you to come back here next year with stories and testimony of what you did at the direction of Dad for the kingdom. Or don't come back at all. Am I clear? I'm done.